Dogs lick people for many reasons, but one of the most interesting mysteries for owners is why certain individuals seem to receive far more attention than everyone else. In some households, one person becomes the dog's favorite target for licking, while others receive only occasional affection, creating a pattern that many owners notice but rarely fully understand. What makes this behavior fascinating is that the answer often has very little to do with what humans assume and much more to do with how dogs experience the people around them every day. Most people immediately interpret licking as a sign of affection, and sometimes that explanation is perfectly accurate. Dogs often use licking to strengthen social bonds, express comfort, and communicate trust toward individuals they feel connected to. Yet, if affection were the only reason, most dogs would distribute that behavior relatively evenly among family members they love. And anyone who has lived with a dog long enough knows that is often not what happens. Many owners eventually notice a curious pattern emerging over time. The dog may greet everyone happily, spend time with multiple family members, and appear equally attached to several people, but when licking behavior begins, the attention frequently becomes concentrated on one particular individual. The same person receives the face licks, the hand licks, and the enthusiastic greetings while everyone else watches from the sidelines, wondering what makes them so special. One reason involves familiarity and emotional predictability. Dogs spend much of their lives studying the people around them, quietly learning routines, behaviors, moods, and habits that help them understand their environment. Individuals who consistently provide predictable emotional experiences often become especially comforting to dogs because they reduce uncertainty and create a sense of stability within the dog's social world. This becomes particularly noticeable in busy households where multiple personalities exist under one roof. One person may move calmly, speak consistently, and interact with the dog in highly predictable ways, while another may be louder, more energetic, or less consistent in their daily interactions. The dog is not necessarily choosing a favorite person in the human sense of the word, but it may naturally gravitate toward the individual who feels easiest to understand. Interestingly, dogs also pay close attention to reactions. Every interaction teaches a dog something about the people around them, and licking often produces dramatically different responses depending on the individual involved. One person laughs, encourages the behavior, and provides attention while another gently redirects the dog or ignores the behavior altogether. Over time, the dog begins learning which individuals consistently reward licking with positive engagement. This learning process happens far more quickly than many owners realize. Dogs are constantly observing cause and effect relationships, and they become remarkably skilled at identifying behaviors that produce desirable outcomes. If licking one person reliably generates smiles, conversation, petting, or physical closeness, the dog may naturally repeat that behavior with increasing frequency because it has proven successful in the past. Scent also plays a surprisingly important role in the equation. While humans primarily experience the world through sight, dogs rely heavily on smell to gather information about everything around them. Every person carries a unique combination of scents influenced by skin chemistry, daily activities, personal care products, food preparation, and countless environmental factors that humans rarely notice. To a dog, these scent differences are not minor details. They represent valuable information about identity, health, emotional state, and recent experiences. Some people simply smell more interesting to a particular dog than others do, and licking allows the dog to gather even more information through an already powerful sensory system. What appears to be affection from the human perspective may partially reflect curiosity from the dog's perspective. Another factor emerges when stress enters the picture. Dogs frequently use social behaviors to regulate their own emotions, and licking can become one of those tools. Individuals who make the dog feel calm, secure, and safe often become preferred targets for comfort-seeking behaviors during periods of uncertainty or excitement. The licking itself may help reinforce a bond that already provides emotional stability. Owners sometimes notice this during gatherings, travel, routine changes, or unfamiliar situations. While other people focus on the event itself, the dog may repeatedly seek out one particular person for reassurance. The behavior can look like excessive affection, but beneath the surface, it often reflects trust and emotional security more than simple excitement. Body language contributes as well. Dogs continuously evaluate posture, movement, facial expressions, and physical presence in ways that many humans underestimate. Some people naturally present themselves in ways that feel approachable and inviting to dogs without ever consciously trying to do so. Their movements appear less intimidating, their posture feels relaxed, and their overall presence encourages social interaction. This explains why visitors sometimes become instant favorites despite having little previous relationship with the dog. The individual may unknowingly communicate in a way that feels extremely comfortable from a canine perspective. The dog responds accordingly, sometimes surprising even the owners who expected a completely different outcome. Age can influence licking behavior too. Puppies often lick as part of social development, communication, and exploration, while adult dogs may develop more selective habits over time. As dogs mature, they become increasingly aware of which relationships feel most rewarding, most predictable, and most meaningful within their social environment. Their behavior begins reflecting those preferences with greater consistency. What makes this especially interesting is that dogs rarely make these decisions based on a single factor. Humans often search for one simple explanation, but canine behavior is usually shaped by multiple influences operating simultaneously. Affection, comfort, scent, familiarity, predictability, learning history, and emotional security may all contribute to the same behavior at different times. Many owners assume that the person receiving the most licking must automatically be the dog's favorite human. Sometimes that assumption is correct, but not always. A dog may deeply trust one person, play most enthusiastically with another, seek comfort from a third, and lick a fourth most frequently because that individual consistently rewards the behavior. Relationships are often more complex than they appear on the surface. The most revealing situations occur when routines suddenly change. A family member travels for several days, work schedules shift, or household dynamics temporarily change. When the familiar structure disappears, dogs often reveal which relationships carry the greatest emotional significance. Licking behavior may increase dramatically towards certain individuals because the dog is seeking reassurance, reconnection, or emotional stability. This tendency highlights an important truth about dogs. They do not simply react to people in the moment. They build detailed social maps based on thousands of small interactions accumulated over weeks, months, and years. Every greeting, routine, emotional experience, and shared activity contributes to the relationship the dog eventually develops with each individual. That is why two people can treat a dog equally well, yet receive very different responses. The dog is responding not only to what happens today, but also to the entire history of experiences associated with each person. What appears random often reflects a long-term pattern that has been quietly developing beneath the surface. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of all is that dogs rarely separate affection, trust, familiarity, and security into distinct categories the way humans do. These experiences overlap and blend together within the dog's understanding of relationships. Licking becomes one small expression of a much larger social bond that may involve comfort, communication, curiosity, and emotional connection all at the same time. So the next time a dog seems determined to cover one person with enthusiastic licks while largely ignoring everyone else, the explanation is probably more complicated than simple favoritism. The dog may be responding to scent, predictability, emotional comfort, learned rewards, body language, familiarity, or a combination of all these factors working together. What looks like a simple habit is often the visible result of countless observations and experiences that the dog has quietly collected over time. Beneath every enthusiastic lick is a relationship shaped by trust, recognition, comfort, and understanding. And that relationship may reveal far more about how dogs experience the people in their lives than most owners ever realize.